Hi guys, DPX here. Welcome back to another show review. Today I'm reviewing Andor Season 2. Now before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell and leave a comment, or I will start a revolution, one of which you will not like. So a little background here. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I've loved Star Wars since I was a little kid. And I've basically watched like just about everything Star Wars. Like there's some of the animated stuff I haven't watched. Like obviously I watched the Clone Wars and Rebels and all that, but like maybe like some spin-offs of those I haven't watched. Other than that, I've pretty much watched everything Star Wars. And if you know anything about that, you should know that Star Wars content, you know, on Disney Plus for the past few years haven't been particularly that great, you know. Within the past few years, like, we got Skeleton Crew, which was like a big outlier. That wasn't like premium television or anything like that, but I thought it was a fun show, and that seems to be the consensus. I kind of felt like Obi-Wan was a little I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. Not that it's like as good as it should have been, but like then we got other shows like Ahsoka, which was just mid. Book of Boba Fett, The Acolyte, even Mandalorian Season 3 was a major disappointment. I say all that, but then you had Andor, which probably had like the least, like, I was probably like the least excited for that, like the first season, because I guess there's just like not as much of an expectation there, you know, like I really enjoyed Rogue One, but like I never really thought like that Cassian Andor guy, yeah, I'll watch the entire show about him. But after seeing Andor Season 1, it's like the best Star Wars, like, of the Disney era, for sure. I was a little hesitant to say that it was the best Star Wars of, like, since, like, the original trilogy, but then after Season 2, which is what we're talking about today, it is the best Star Wars since the original trilogy. In fact, in some ways it might be better. I don't know about that. I was going to say in some ways it might be better than Return of the Jedi. I'm not quite sure about that, to be honest. But, like, depending on who you ask, it could be. One thing I really liked about Andor, like the first season and now this season, is that it's Star Wars for adults, and not in the way that's like R-rated or anything, or it's like edgy, but it's just like mature. Like it has, like the story's mature. Like definitely like a kid can watch it, you know. But it's definitely made for adults more to understand, you know. It's about politics and like revolutions and all that, rebellions, you know. And the events of this show lead right into Rogue One, which the events of that movie lead right into A New Hope, you know. So basically like Andor's story ends with the beginning of Star Wars when you think about it, which is crazy. I guess spoilers for Rogue One, but you know, Andor dies at the end of that movie, so it is like sad to see everything that he does in this show, and he does a lot, like to help the rebellion, you know. You see all the things he does, and he doesn't see it like pay off, you know what I mean? That's what kind of makes everything in this show hit differently, because you know how his story ends, but you also know like the stuff he does in the show, what it means for the future, but he never sees what it actually does, if that makes sense. But this show has done a great job of not really just being a show about Cassian Andor, you know. There's other characters, like there's Luthen, you know, who is absolutely great. Like Stellan Skarsgård, I think that's the actor's name. He kills it every time he's Luthen. Every time he delivers a speech, he just steals every scene. And like in the final 3 episodes, I'm not gonna say what happens with him, but what happens with him is kind of like the focus of those last 3 episodes, and it kind of really puts into motion everything going into Rogue One. Then we even get to see characters from the Empire, you know, specifically Dedra. She's like this, you know, this fascist, you know, this almost like Hitler-like character, you know? And it's, like, interesting to see, like, she is this despicable, like, remorseless character. But seeing how her story ends, it's like, damn, like, it's a fitting end for her. But, like, I don't want to spoil what happens, but it's like, that is, like, a crazy twist of fate, you know? And the stuff with Cyril as well. I always thought he was interesting because he's, like, a character who's always, like, obsessed with his job. And he seemed like, you know, a bad person that was very innocent, you know what I mean? Which sounds very odd, you know? It seemed like he knew what he was getting himself into, but didn't quite understand fully the severity of it. That sounds bizarre, but then when you find out, when he finds out what's going on, like, it's amazing. I'm trying to, like, God, I'm trying my best to not spoil things, but God, this show is so good. But, like, especially, you get, like one thing I do really like about this season, how, there's 12 episodes, which Disney Plus should be doing more 12-episode seasons, because the 6-episode bullshit is so stupid. But, you know, there's 12 episodes here, and every 3 episodes is a year, you know? Like there's a year time jump in between episode 3 and 4, and then in between episode 6 and 7, and then episode, you know, 9 and 10, you know. And I guess one issue I have is, while it's not bad, the first 6 episodes were kind of like, you know, not, like, you come, like, after the first season of Andor, it's like, really, we're doing this? You know? The first 3 episodes is Cassian gets, like, is stuck on a planet. And then the next 3 episodes is Cassian refuses to do something, you know? But what's interesting is, like, everything else going on around Andor, you know? Especially in the set, in the, I guess I can say, like, Act 2, you know? Like, all the other characters have, like, very interesting things going on, but Andor doesn't. But then when we get to episode 7, 8, and 9, holy shit! Things really, like, come to a head. Things collide. Things intertwine. Like, a lot of the story threads that are going on leading up to this moment, that's when they come ahead, and it's amazing. But I think, like, another thing that this show does very well is it tells you why and shows you why the Empire is bad. The Empire needs to be stopped. As much as I love the original trilogy, and like, that will always be the best Star Wars to me. I'm not saying that this show is better than the original trilogy, but all we're really told or shown about the Empire in the original trilogy is that they're evil. And good enough. They're evil. We gotta stop them, you know. This show, it shows us how evil the Empire is. And then maybe when you watch this show, you watch Rogue One with a completely, like, you know, you look at the movie differently, and then maybe you watch the original trilogy and you look at that completely differently. You have to be a special kind of amazing show in order to change the way you look at a, like, one of, if not, in my personal opinion, the greatest movie trilogy of all time, in a way that makes it better, you know? Like, this fleshes out the Empire, you know, and you watch the original trilogy, and you know all this, like, a whole bunch more stuff about the Empire, and you want to see the Empire get taken down all that much more. What else can I say about Andor without spoiling it, you know? You guys should absolutely see it. I even think if you are not a Star Wars person, if you have not seen anything Star Wars, you can watch this show. Start with the first season, of course, and then watch this season, because this is truly the best Star Wars has ever been since the original trilogy. And I mean that with no hyperbole. Bar none, the best Disney Star Wars things, but, like, it's better than the Clone Wars. It's better. I think it might be better than any, like, Star Wars game that has come out. You know, any Star Wars book that has come out. Andor is, like, the best Star Wars we've gotten since the original trilogy. And with that being said, I give Andor Season 2 a 10 out of 10. So that's my review for Andor Season 2. What do you guys think? Have you guys seen the show, not seen the show? Do you guys like the show, not like the show? If you haven't seen it, do you guys want to see it, not want to see it? Anything about the show, let me know down below. Anyways, be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, or I will start a revolution against you.